Ellen DeGeneres is leaving the country. Yeah, that's right. We had a lot of celebrities leading up to the election saying that if Trump got reelected, they were going to leave the country. Ellen DeGeneres is going. She's going to the UK, baby. And I don't mean the University of Kentucky where Mark Pope has the Wildcats off to a pretty good start. She's going to go to England to get out of this country. And I don't know, is it a protest against Donald Trump? I suppose that it is. There are others that are speculating that she was really good friends with Diddy. And what might that mean? We would never speculate about something like that on this program, but there are those out there who believe that perhaps Ellen DeGeneres could be moving. Where's the cartoon at? Do we have the Ellen DeGeneres? Yeah, take a look at this. I'm leaving Trump's America while I still can. Look, I don't know. There's a big thing. There's a Diddy list. Are we going to release it? The Epstein Island list. Is it going to be released? Who's in it? Who's not on it? I don't have any expectations. I don't know shit about it. But it's interesting that Ellen DeGeneres is leaving the country. There she is with her wife, Portia de Rossi, I believe. Or does she have a different wife now? That's her ex-wife. No, that's Portia de Rossi. Who the is Ellen DeGeneres married to? I don't care. I'm like Powers Booth in Tombstone. Do we have the graphic of Powers Booth from Tombstone? Bye, Ellen. Well, bye. Enjoy the United Kingdom. I don't know if the Diddy and Epstein people ever do come to justice in this country, may I recommend where the trials are adjudicated? Because I've got an idea for this. Let's take them to the People's Court, shall we? I don't know. Judge Wapner's not with us anymore. I'm not even sure if Doug Llewellyn is still alive, but there was nothing better than watching the People's Court, people airing their petty grievances. I think the maximum you could win back in the day was like $1,500 or something. I mean, maybe it was a little more than that. And then they go out and Doug Llewellyn would just treat you like you were a stupid piece of shit after you lost. And remember what he would always say? Don't take the law into your own hands. Take them to court. So I don't know who's going to court, but I do know that Ellen is going to England. And may I request a trade? I want to offer a trade to England like this is a fantasy league. All right? You can have Ellen DeGeneres, and we want J.K. Rowling. Yes, I know that's a good trade for us. That's like the guy in your fantasy football league who's trying to prey upon the stupid owner, trying to get a top-notch player for little of nothing. But if we could get J.K. Rowling back for Ellen DeGeneres, that might make America great again, or it would go a long way towards it, because J.K. Rowling has become one of my favorite people in contemporary society. And I haven't even read any of the Harry Potter books. I've seen the movies. My ex-wife read the books, and I went to the movies, and I did enjoy the movies. But HBO has a Harry Potter television series in the works that is supposed to debut in 2026. And HBO has announced that they're going to stand by J.K. Rowling. As they say here, Variety reporting, HBO's official statement, J.K. Rowling has a right to express her personal views, and she's been very outspoken on transgender issues, as many of you no doubt know. HBO continuing to say, we will remain focused on the development of the new series, which will only benefit from her involvement. So let me paraphrase that. Stand down, woke critics, stand down, cancellation party. We're making a Harry Potter television series, and we want the person who conceived all of this, the George Lucas, but with more talent, yeah, I said it, of the Harry Potter universe. Of course you want her involved. And why would you leave her out of the project for having the temerity to say that there's a difference biologically between men and women. Can you feel the culture starting to shift a little bit, guys? Can you see it starting to happen? The responses aren't what they used to be. HBO saying, basically, stick it. J.K. Rowling's going to be involved in this. It's amazing how the leverage changes based upon what the majority says. And there was a silent majority in this country that spoke up a couple of weeks ago with this presidential election. People who said, you know what? We saw 4 years of Donald Trump. We saw 4 years of Harris and Biden. We've seen 4 years of this country going further and further into this weird place where you have to take on these radical ideas about all kinds of topics, many of which long since have been settled by common sense. And we've had people come along roughly about 10,000 generations into humanity, and they start wanting to fuck with this. Hey, wait a minute. Men can be women. Well, no, they can't. And J.K. Rowling has said that, and it looks like she's going to prevail in this battle, because it hasn't been that long ago that people have been hinting that they were going to make charges against her for things that she said online. Radical things like men have penises and women don't. And you can't just change what your sex is because you think something in your mind. LeBron James hasn't exactly taken a page from Ellen's book. I mean, Ellen's leaving the fucking country. But LeBron James announced to his almost 53 million X followers that he's going to be taking a break from that platform. No announcement of whether or not he's going to go to Blue Sky, where the censorship overlords are already well at work. But LeBron's saying, I'll holla at y'all, getting off social media for the time being. Y'all take care. And I don't know, can we bring back Powers Booth again? What does Powers Booth from Tombstone have to say to LeBron? Do we have him handy? Well, bye, LeBron. If that's how you feel, peace out. We'll see you later. Go play some one-on-one with your son. God bless you. Good luck to the Lakers as you try to repeat as the NBA Cup champions. Some people don't like to hear athletes talk about things other than sports anyway. They might say, as James Naismith once said to his wife, I believe, shut up and dribble, Maud. There's a tweet. In an underrated moment in basketball history, Dr. James Naismith blocks his wife's weak shit and tells her not to bring Kool-Aid to a grown man's party. Get that weak shit out of here, Maud. And yes, her name was Maud. I looked that up. She was anything but tranquilizing. Right on, Maud. You remember that? That's one of the great theme songs of 70s television, B. Arthur. I don't know if James Naismith would have the game to swat one away from a motivated B. Arthur who's trying to take it to the rim. And I will now welcome into the program a man who always brings it to the rim strong. The international streaming star joins me from Nashville, Tennessee, Ronnie T-shirts. And a lot to digest here, Ronnie. We've got Ellen DeGeneres going to England. We've got LeBron James, at least temporarily, departing from X. And of course, we've got J.K. Rowling, who seems to have retained her free speech and also retained her ability to move forward in her professional ambitions without being canceled. What do you think?
So I don't know if Ellen is just stupid or if her brain is just completely broken. So England is moving towards, I mean, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, if things keep going the way they're going, and there's not a shift in how their pendulum is swinging, they're gonna have Sharia law at some point. And they don't take too kindly to lesbian marriages. And then I think about what I know about, they claim that the US is so racist. England is so racist, Ricky, in terms of, like, if you look at English soccer fans, the things that they do and that they say to the black players that play against them, it's heinous. So I'm not quite sure why she thinks that England is a better place for her to be than here, but I guess good riddance. LeBron, who cares? Like, uh, LeBron is just a big fat who cares for me now. Like, when he was in his early days of being in the NBA, man, I really did like LeBron, but he's just turned into, I don't know. I guess it's just the hypocrisy. Uh, how he won't say anything about China and what's going on over in China, because that's obviously where he's making his, how he's got to be almost a billionaire now. Um, so yeah, so who cares about LeBron? I don't look at his tweets anyways. And what was the other one? JK
JK.
Rowling.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't it crazy that we have to read a report that says that we're going to go ahead and stick with this person? Like, that's where we're at now. Like, that's news. Holy crap, Ricky.
We're going to stick with her controversial comments that men and women are different have not ruined her career, Ron. That's news. That's how far we have sunk
Unbelievable
as a culture. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why has this ever been an issue? And I want to go back to something that you said. I mean, first of all, why is she going to England? Either she really put her, money where her mouth is in terms of disliking Donald Trump, or, I don't know. What's the UK's extradition policy? Ron, have you looked into that? I don't know. But listen, I'll tell you, what you're saying comes back to something that I was talking about on the program recently. A lot of the criticism that Americans have about America is partly the luck that they have to have been born here and not know the difference between how good it is here and how not good it is various other places in the world. All right. And the average American has probably never traveled overseas. The average American is not all that curious about looking at other cultures and weighing America within the context of not only what's going on in contemporary times around the world, but comparing the state of the world and the state of this society that we live in today to what the world used to be like a couple hundred years ago, or more than that, right? We are all so unbelievably blessed to be in this country. America is not perfect, but I'll tell you what are you going to trade it for? I'm going to sit here and tell you there's no place else that I would rather live. And if somebody wants to go somewhere else, bye. Good luck to you. Happy trails to you. And if we never meet again, that's going to be all right with the rest of us. But this country, all the time and attention that the woke movement has spent on picking apart every little grievance, every little hurt feeling, every little thing that triggers someone and makes them want to go to their safe space where they can get out a coloring book and have a cookie, all right? It ain't that bad when you compare it to the state of the rest of the world. All the talk, hey, look, I got 5 daughters and I was raised by a single mother. I want the best for those particular females in my life, and I want the best for all females within American society and around the world. And I'm not saying that we can't do better in some regards in terms of the way that women are treated in this society. But compare us and listen to all the wailing and crying and hysteria about women's rights being taken away and all of this stuff, and then look around at other real societies in this world where women are basically treated as property. They're covered from head to toe. They're not allowed to do all kinds of things. Give me a fucking break with all the shitting on America, Ron. As I've said, I'm done with it. And if you think America is so bad and you can afford to go to another country, exercise your right as an American to do that. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that are suffering and complaining in other countries, and they don't have the right to leave. There is no exit door. You know, there is no way for them to leave the place that they live. In America, you can do that if you can afford to buy a plane ticket and go through whatever process there is, then, you know, have at it if you don't like it here.
Yeah, man, I just find it comical that they chose England. And again, you know, the one thing I didn't even mention, I mentioned the things that I did, but they have some wildly oppressive anti-free speech laws on the book now, especially for digital. Like, I see stories of guys, women posting something on Facebook or on X or on something, and days later the police are showing up at their door because they posted something that was just a thought, an anti something. It wasn't a call to violence. It was just their thought on something. So I just find it comical that she wants to run from Trump and she wants to go to that place. Like, if she would have said, I don't know, she wants to go to Iceland or Norway or someplace that I haven't heard stories about these absolutely horrible, oppressive things that are going on. But she chose England. Like, England's better than the US. Like, didn't we win like 250 years ago over from England? Like, why England?
Yeah, let's take a fucking victory lap on that again. Yeah, Revolutionary War, bitches. You remember that one?
Yeah.
How'd you like George Washington? How'd you like that? Remember when he went across the Delaware, motherfuckers? Now, you know, giving them Ellen DeGeneres is like insult to injury. This is like winning the Revolutionary War again. I don't know. I don't like her. I hope she dances into that country like an asshole, the way that she used to come out and start her show all the time, Ronnie. I think that this is a good time. And this is something that Ellen DeGeneres has lost, that she's not going to get to partake in because she has left this fine country, but the rest of us can enjoy it. And I'm speaking, of course, of America's Poll of the Day over at Super 70 Sports on X, where we like to have fun because we won the Revolutionary War and we appreciate that. And today's America's Poll of the Day comes to you courtesy of the man beneath me on our screen. You're a bottom, Ron. This is like the Brady Bunch. I never thought about how we could do that.
Just when you said
da 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 da. It's the story of a man named T-Shirts who couldn't believe he ever got on TV. I don't know, Roddy. Fucking A, man. What does it say about our collective brain power that we're 3 months into this and we just realized we can do the Brady Bunch opening every show?
We have to start doing this.
I'm looking down on you, literally. Look how I'm condescending to you right now. All right. You're looking good down there, Roddy. Why is this more fun than it should be? Gary Schreier, you hired the right people, my friend. Look at this. You're not getting this anywhere else on OutKick today. Ronnie, let's go through your poll. Let's go through your poll here. We've got soft pretzels, which are, delicious when they actually are soft. It's when you get those stale, crusty ones that it's not so good.
Dude, have you ever had the just massive disappointment when you go to a baseball game or a football game, get a soft pretzel, take that first bite, the outside is hot and the inside is just ice cold? Oh, what a disappointment.
Yeah, soft pretzels. I mean, look, Annie Ann's, they got a pretty high batting average. But if you're getting a soft pretzel at a ball game or something, you're rolling the dice.
It's hit or miss, man.
Is what I'm saying. Drive-in movies. And this one is for folks of a certain age. Any youngsters who are watching us today, you may not know the magic of having a movie projected up onto what amounted to the side of a fucking building. And we had one, the Twin Cities Drive-In in Horse Cave, Kentucky. You used to be able to go up to the playground. There was a merry-go-round and swings. And all
Absolutely.
of that shit. So we would go up there and play and half watch a movie, and I was like 12 years old and I was hoping for nudity. I mean, do you realize how much fun it was in 1982 to see titties on the side of a building, Ron? Not not only were you seeing them, they were like 2 stories high. It was great. Third, we've got the Steve Miller Band, Jungle Love, Jet Airliner, The Joker, Take the Money and
Abracadabra.
Run, Abracadabra. Good call, Ron. A lot of good stuff there. And then the sporting news,
Oh,
which I believe the sporting news is deceased. I don't even think there's a sad version of the sporting news now. There might be an online site. I
I
don't
think there's
know.
an online
But
version.
the sporting news, when it was actually a paper, it wasn't a magazine, it was a paper, and they used to call it the Bible of baseball, if I'm not mistaken. And every Thursday, I was a subscriber, and every Thursday was the sporting news day. And I remember, you go to the mailbox, you look forward to it. They had, great columnists in there. The writing was outstanding.
Yep.
And you got the box scores. You got
Hmm.
the previous NFL week scores. You got all the NBA box scores for the previous week. You got all the MLB box scores for the previous week. They covered everything, pro, college. It was awesome. And I would love to see it resurrected, but I guess we just live in different times now, Ron. So this is your poll. So I'll start by saying that I will vote for the vintage sporting news.
Okay.
Because it's unspoken here, but I'm talking about the sporting news of the 70s and 80s. I'll vote for the sporting news, and I have enough faith in my audience that I believe the sporting news is going to win as well. We'll see. But I think
So,
there are enough guys our age, and maybe a few gals as well, who remember that with great fondness. So I'm going to predict that it wins.
Ricky, I went to vote on this morning, and understand this was my poll. I was having a hard time making a decision, which is crazy. Like, I've never done that before when there's been a poll that I've made. I always know who I want to pick. And so going back and forth, going back and forth. I mean, the sporting news was everything when we were kids. I mean, it's hard for people today, or for kids today, or people that don't know about that, to understand what it's like to not know, like, what did George Foster do 3 days ago, right? Like, or 4 days ago. Like, it was literally brand new news to us when we got to look at the box scores and see, what did David Thompson, how many points did David Thompson score against the Trailblazers last week? Like, we didn't even know. And it
And
was,
bro, all we would get and one of the reasons that I love the sporting news is it actually had rebounds,
yeah,
assists,
everything.
and that stuff in it. Because the Louisville Courier Journal back in the day, like a lot of papers, and I think some papers have even gone back to this now because they're trying to save space. But all you would get would be the points, and you would get like the leading rebounder from each team. Remember
Right.
that? And you
Yep.
get the leading assist person. But you wouldn't know how many rebounds or assists somebody had unless they were the top person on their team. I know a lot of you watching right now remember that.
Yeah. I mean,
So
the
the
sporting
sporting
news,
news
what,
like
what, two to
unlocked the
three
entire
hours?
box score for you.
It was like, it was easily 2 or 3 hours to go through it, right? Like, you just didn't just flip through it real quick. Like, it was an exercise, a weekly exercise.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I would refer back to it too during the week. I really
absolutely.
would. I would keep them. I would keep them. I
Oh
would have like
gosh,
a
yes.
stack of them so that I could go back and just look through the stats again and all of that stuff. So yeah, it was great.
Everybody always talked about Sports Illustrated covers being so great. Dude, I love sporting news covers. And so I would tear them off, cut the front off, and I'd have them hanging on my wall if they were, of my favorite teams or favorite players. So sporting news was absolutely, it was awesome. Steve Miller Band, I mean, if you remember, Lori and I saw him here in Franklin 3 years ago, 2 years ago, at an
Yeah, I do
amphitheater.
remember that.
He was 80 years old and still just bringing it hard. So Steve Miller Band is awesome. drive-in movies, there aren't very many left. Lori and I went to one in Atlanta when we lived in Atlanta, and man, does it just bring back just amazing childhood memories. Like we used to put our pajamas on. Our mom and dad would put us in our pajamas, and we'd get kind of junk food that we would never really be allowed to have at our house. And so you'd get in the back seat and you'd have pajamas and maybe a pillow, and we'd probably invariably end up falling asleep. But man, what great memories there. And soft pretzels, I love soft pretzels. Pro tip, the best soft pretzels I've ever had. Are you ready for this? Gas station.
I am. I'm going to grab a pen. I'm going to write this down.
Wait, do you have a new figurine?
Ryan.
Wait, do you have a new figurine? I just noticed. It's not Walter.
Well, it's a new old figurine. That's J.R. Richard there.
Okay.
James Rodney Richard has he's setting in for, how some days somebody has to set in for you?
Load management.
Walter's, load management. Walter has gone down to Jackson State for a couple of days, and JR is going to set in for him.
But the best soft pretzels I've ever had, and this is going to sound crazy, are soft pretzels that you get in gas stations in Germany. They are amazing.
Well, Ron.
Amazing.
Well, let me update my passport and, call the travel agent, because I'm going to Berlin for a goddamn soft pretzel, Ron. That's not really actionable advice for me at this. But here's the deal:
one day, you or one of our listeners is going to be in Germany. You're going to stop to get gas, and you're going to see that there's a soft pretzel available, and you're going to remember this, and you're going to have it, and you're just going to think to yourself, "Damn, Ronnie T-shirts knows soft pretzels."
All right, producer Tim has given us the Oscar walk-off music here. Wrap it up, fellas. And here, Ron, I think that's your best one ever in terms of results.
My gosh, look at that.
Look at that. You are very close to, perfection. The quadruple 25, it may just not be obtainable. But, and the quadruple 25, by the way, we don't mean 25.0 across the board, but if I ended up with 4 that were all 24 point something or 25 point something, I would consider that to be like a hole in one, or better than a hole in one.
This one's pretty close to the pin.
An albatross. Yeah, it'd be like a 2 on a par 5 if we ever got there. That's really good, dude. That's like sticking your approach shot like about 4 feet from the flagstick right there, Ron.
Yep. And dude, did you see where Sporting News was third?
Well, Sporting News is third, but how about producer Tim? Here. Look at this.
Poignant.
He's mining the Super 70s archives to bring back this blast from the past. That tweet didn't do as well as I thought that it should, Ron. Occasionally I'll send one out and I'll be like, all right, that was fucking funny. And it kind of lands with a thud. It did okay, but I mean, look at that. How was that the best design that there could have been for a goalie mask ever? I mean, I know they had to start somewhere. I can't see it. My connection, Tim, to the control, it's been lost on my laptop. Ronnie, read it for me.
So it says, you going to wear a mask tonight? I want a pretzel. You want a what? I want a goddamn pretzel. And this guy looks like his mask is made of unbaked pretzel. It doesn't even look like it's been baked yet.
That's the fresh one that you see laying out at Annie Ann's, and you're just like, oh man, they're going to throw that in a minute. It's going to come out all fresh and delicious. I don't know. That couldn't have ever been the most efficient way to protect your face, but who am I to second guess an NHL goalie, I suppose, Ron? Ronnie, are you aware? It wouldn't be this show if we didn't mention Deion Sanders.
Who?
Today. Deion Sanders, he's a former American football player who is now he's now a coach. He also used to rap years ago. He was friends with MC Hammer.
Okay.
He was a defensive back in American football, Ron. And do you know who Ice Cube is? Yeah. I
Didn't
don't know
he
if you've
mess
ever heard
around
of
and get a
Ice
triple double
Cube.
one time? Didn't he mess around and get a
He
triple
did,
double
in
one time?
fact. He
Okay.
watched Yo MTV Raps at Short Dog's house, and then he messed around and got a triple double later that day. And
Did he have any pork
can't
for
remember. I
breakfast?
think
Did he have any hog for breakfast?
he didn't. He
No.
got his grub on though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think his beeper was blowing
he
up.
didn't even have to use his AK that day. Well, let's
I
go
think his
to
beeper was
Ice
blowing
Cube
up.
talking. Yeah, his beeper was blowing up. He got I believe Kim paged him, and you know what they say about Kim, Ron?
Yep.
She has a lot of endurance. Let's go to Ice Cube talking to Deion Sanders and maybe giving him a little bit of career counsel.
What would you do? You in my situation.
Help him get to the next level
Okay,
any way I can.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But should it go past that, or
What do you mean past that?
Let him go to the NFL, continue to coach his son.
Hey, come on now, why not? Especially if it's in a Raider uniform. Come on, baby. Oh, man, don't get me to acting a fool. You know what I mean? That would be a dream come true as a fan of the Raiders or as the president of the Raider Nation. You know what I mean? I do approve this message.
What do you think? We've heard Michael Irvin telling Jerry Jones that Deion could be a fine solution to his issues in Dallas. And now Cube, who is famously a Raiders fan, going all the way back to the straight out of Compton days. And before that, he wouldn't mind seeing Deion and Shador in Vegas, baby.
I said it the other day, man. I mean, we were talking about the Cowboys, but I think that the head coach in the NFL is supposed to be more of a motivator and a manager of other coaches. I actually think he might do a better job in the pros than he does in college. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Well, he's done a fine job in college. I don't know how grown men are going to respond to him. Grown men who are making a lot of money. I mean, of course, a lot of these college kids are making pretty good coin now too,
Yeah.
but it's a different deal coaching grown-ass men and 18 and 19 and 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, but he's
So I
got
don't
such,
know if
he
Deion
has such
plays
cred though,
better.
man.
Well, he does.
He
That
does,
gray
man.
beard just gives him an extra aura of wisdom too, doesn't it?
It's so fantastic, isn't it? Like it really. I was noticing that yesterday when we had him on. Like, man, that beard is just, it's tight.
The thing about Deion is he bugs me sometimes, but I can never stay mad at him.
I totally agree with you.
I always end up coming back.
Yep.
Ronnie, the Pro Football Hall of Fame has announced its 2025 semifinalist list as they winnow. As they start with a big number of people, that gives people the opportunity to be recognized, and then they cut it down. And so we're down to 25, modern era. Take a look at it here. Ron, just eyeballing this list of 25 names, if, 3 or 4 that you believe just off the top of your head without giving it too much thought, give me 3 or 4 that you would like to see go in this year.
I'll be honest with you. I'm having a really hard time reading it. It's small. Oh, there we go. Okay. Gosh, this is going to be a crazy one, but the first one that jumped out to me was Adam Vinatieri. Like, he was the best kicker for a really long time on the best team.
Me too, actually, dude. I will tell you the same thing. The first person I looked at and I was like, where's the no-brainer here?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people on there that are going to, there's some on that list that won't get in this year, but eventually will.
I'm going to go. My other two are going to be Antonio Gates. Kind of feels like he revolutionized the tight end position, and
agree.
James Harrison was just a bad man. I'm going to go James Harrison, Vinatieri, and Antonio Gates will be my 3.
Bro, I can find no fault with that. Honestly, I'm not sure that I'm not sure that that's not my 3 as well. I think Rodney Harrison has a pretty good argument, but not as strong probably as the other 3. Look, I mean, a kicker's a kicker. I know there's some people that are like, hey, look, it's like a closer in baseball, right? Like how valuable can you really be if you're a kicker? But I mean, shit, in the case of Adam Vinatieri, pretty fucking valuable. It's hard to imagine that Patriots dynasty without him. Didn't they win? I mean, they won the Super Bowl with the Rams by 3, I think. They beat the Panthers by 3. They beat the Eagles by 3. Didn't they win 3 Super Bowls by 3?
He was damn close to automatic. Yeah, I can't remember. I think he was their kicker for all of those. That was the pre-Steven Gostkowski era, I think. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, how's this man in the Hall of Fame? You know, and this tweet is a little bit outdated because for those of you that are paying attention, you'll recognize that Jim Cott and Ted Simmons are in the Hall of Fame now. And did Minnie Minoso get in as well? I can't remember, but for some reason, I feel like Minnie Minoso got in there posthumously, but I could be wrong about that. But Dave Parker is on the outside looking in. Dale Murphy is there with him. Tommy John. Dick Allen has passed away now. He should have gotten in his lifetime. Lou Whitaker, Bobby Grich. There's a lot of really outstanding players who are not in the Hall of Fame, but that guy right there is. And yeah, Minoso is in. He was inducted in 2022. So I don't know, dude. I was in Barnes & Noble the other night. I like to go out to a brick and mortar bookstore once in a while, Ron. They're coming back, actually. They're coming back.
Yeah, you know, I get it. And I spend so much time reading from my phone and whatever. It's nice to go old school sometimes. I find them relaxing just to go in there and browse, even if I really don't get anything.
Did you ever
a Bud Selig book? Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, I was just going to say, did you ever read from a Kindle? Because I found it very uncomfortable. Like I liked holding a book.
I did.
Like holding a Kindle.
I had a Kindle.
It didn't feel right.
And at one point I had a Nook, which was somebody's alternative to the Kindle. Right. I can't remember. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Now I have Kindle on my phone. I would rather read books from my phone because I spend so much time reading from my phone anyway. That feels natural to me now. So I would rather have a physical book, read from my phone. The Kindle was like in between. It was more cumbersome than my phone. I had to hold it. It wasn't as satisfying to hold as a book. It was just kind of in between for me. But Ron, I was looking at the Bud Selig. I'm not gonna be buying the Bud Selig book that I saw, and it's called For the Good of the Game. And my first thought was, you motherfucker, you're gonna write a book about the good of the game after you presided over the steroid era and everything that happened in baseball. But after seeing Rob Manfred and everything that's happened in baseball over the course of the past 5 years or so, I kind of thought, well, geez, you know, I'm never going to be a fan, but maybe Bud Selig wasn't quite as bad as we all thought he was. You know, maybe he wasn't quite as bad as he seemed at the time, but he still has no business in the Hall of Fame over all of those names that I rattled off that still aren't there.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.